Let's get into these topics today, man. I was excited when I heard this trade. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, man. I am a big John Wall fan, right? I think that he's my second favorite Wizard of all time behind Agent Zero, Gilbert Arenas.
All right,
So
I
Shout
like
out to
that.
Gilbert Arenas, man.
shout out to Gilbert, man. Back in the Antoine Jameson, Karan Butler days, that was
Yep.
when I thought Washington basketball was just fantastic. And you know, John Wall's Wizards too, when they swept Toronto. You know, he had a lot of good years, good times. But I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was excited when I heard this trade go down. Russell Westbrook is coming to Washington D.C. to play for the Wizards. John Wall and a first-round lottery-protected pick are going to Houston. And I start with Brooks on this one, man. What was your initial reaction to learning this news from this Woj bomb?
So I was actually working on another thing last night, and I wasn't even looking at my phone. I go to the bathroom, I look at my phone, I see Pedro's text. John Wall just got traded. What? What did I miss? I'm on my computer. I'm on my computer before I go to the bathroom. I'm like, oh, what did I miss? Go to my phone, I see the tweets. Like, oh shit. I get a DM from my from one of my editors, like, you better be writing something about this before a PR release comes on. Like, all right, bet I'm gonna do that. Put this other thing on hold. But my initial reaction was like, I was sick because I'm a big fan of John Wall myself. You know what I mean? I love not only what he does on the basketball court, but off the court, helping so many people in the city. He just did the food drive before he even got traded, so you know he loves the city. He loves the city and he loves the Rose Club or the Rose Bar. So he loves the clubs. But
Definitely loves
yeah,
Rose Bar.
I was sick,
Is the
man.
Rose Bar an adult entertainment venue?
Of course, Washington D.C. baby. It's one of the most popular bars out there.
All right, so I would say, is it a bar or is it an adult bar? If you know what I mean, a gentleman's club.
No, it's not a gentleman's club.
Okay, I was gonna say, all right, because James Harden, you know him. If it's a gentleman's club, I was gonna be a little worried that there's too many guys who like too many gentlemen's clubs in one team coming up.
It's not quite like V Live in Houston. It's more. It's like a bar club. You know what I mean? But there's no poles anywhere. There's no poles.
no poles.
There might be some dancers, but no poles. I don't know about the poles. I don't know if have we been to Rose Bar before. I don't think we've ever been to Rose Bar. We always pass by it and just kind of salute John Wall as I pass by that shit. But we always like see it when we go bar hopping in DC. But
definitely have to pour one out for John Wall and Rose Bar, man.
Oh
tired
man,
of that jersey.
So many DC people on my timeline were sick yesterday. Like not even like people from DC, but just fans of the team, fans of the city, like for sports in general. They were sick, man, and I couldn't help but think the Wizards got better, man. In my opinion, what do you think, George? What was your initial reaction to this trade, and do you think that either of these teams got better?
Well, I mean, just by default, the Wizards got better, right? I mean, we don't know what John Wall is. It's been 2 years almost since we've seen John Wall play basketball. And maybe, knock on wood, he's healthy. Knock on wood that he's, still good. But do we really know that? We're talking about a huge unknown. And for all the faults and for as much as I criticized Russell Westbrook on Twitter, and if you follow me on Twitter, I criticize Russell Westbrook and James Harden quite a bit.
Love it.
But Russell
they don't
Westbrook,
deserve it.
they deserve it, I think, personally. But Russell Westbrook is still a fantastic basketball player. We still know he can play basketball while we don't know what John Wall is. Now, if John Wall is 100% of what John Wall was before, it's pretty much an even trade, right? John Wall is probably slightly less good than Russell Westbrook. But Russell Westbrook is going to be adding some, new dimension to the Wizards, playing alongside Bradley Beal, which I kind of feel like I think Bradley Beal gets kind of the raw end of the stick here because I really wanted to see him play more of a pass-first point guard rather than a shoot-first point guard in Westbrook, because I think Bradley Beal's fantastic, and I think he should be, like, the ball should be in his hand, the offense should go through him, and maybe Russell Westbrook will do that. So, yeah, the Wizards got better. I don't know what John Wall's going to be. And for all the whole trade thing, the weird thing to me was yesterday, or this morning comes out, James Harden, I'd rather play with John Wall than Russell Westbrook, was the rumor that James Harden rather play with John Wall than Russell Westbrook.
Did see that.
What the hell is James Harden talking about? I'd rather play with Chris Paul. Oh, I gotta get rid of Chris Paul. I'd rather play with Russell Westbrook. I don't want to hear who James Harden rather play with anymore, to be completely honest with you. Like, he needs to learn to play basketball the right way. I'm sick and tired of him dribbling the ball 45 feet away from the three-point line between his legs 9 times and taking a step back three, and then losing in the second round of a playoffs because when the game gets tight, he gets tight. So honestly, I don't know what this really means. I think all it means is James Harden's going to be stuffing his stats again because I don't know if John Wall's healthy.
So are you saying that, or are you implying that James Harden should be looked at more of the problem in his, failed seasons or in Houston's failures in general? Would you say that Harden is kind of becoming is it more obvious that he is more of a problem than people might think?
So, I mean, it's been obvious to me for years, but like, look,
I agree, man.
If he stayed in Oklahoma City and he was the third option, or even if they got rid of Russell Westbrook and he was the second option to like Kevin Durant his whole career, he'd be the greatest second option of all time. I mean, okay, you could say Steph and Durant, like I'm talking about for a longevity. He would be the Scottie Pippen. James Harden's a great basketball player, but for some reason, James Harden has been put in situations where people want him to be the championship go-getter, the guy who's going to, when it's tight in the fourth quarter, go get you a basket. And he just hasn't been able to do it. And I don't know if that's because he's played in situations where the whole entire season, his usage rate's been up so damn high that by the time the playoffs come, he has nothing left in the tank. Or does he get nervous? I don't know which one it is. But whatever it is, it's not working. You can't have that usage rate and then do well at the end of the season.
Yeah, it's always like above 30% with him, 30s, sometimes 40s. Brooks, man, you said something that was interesting there. George mentioned how he's constantly critiquing Russell Westbrook on Twitter, and you're saying some of that is not warranted. Tell us a little bit more about that. Right? Or did I take you wrong there?
I think you might have taken me wrong there.
You say he doesn't deserve it as much as he gets it.
I think James Harden deserves the critique. I think it's more about Russ, maybe.
All right, did I say James Harden? I meant to say Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
If I did not say Russell, I meant to say Russell.
Yeah, Russ. Me, I'm kind of hard on Russell Westbrook anyway because of the fact that he is like this superstar point guard. He's a walking triple-double. He is like historically just like a super competitive guy, and we know what he means as far as just like setting a tone, wanting to be a leader, this, that, and the third. This guy wanted to get traded to like bottom feeder teams to be the man again and to be able to help like mold a team. So he goes to the Wizards, and you already have the man there with Bradley Beal. So my thinking is the fact that I don't know. Like I feel like you're trading a similar guy for another similar guy because they're both making crazy money.
That's the problem.
On bad contracts. You got one dude who is injury prone, who hasn't been able to play in 2 years, for another guy who his skill set, his athleticism is kind of wanting. Like Russell Westbrook had one incredible month, albeit the fact that this is like probably his best basketball in years, maybe since his MVP years. Yeah. So you never know. Maybe he can come back. And how you look in the bubble, not being able to like really contribute well makes me kind of I'm a little so with it. But just my main thing is the fact that you're trading basically the same guy for another person. And I just want Bradley Beal to be able to shine more than he did last season. Because it feels like Russell Westbrook is going to want to do his own thing. And that's maybe the reason why Bradley Beal probably possibly pushed for a trade, because he knows John Wall isn't capable of ceding that control to the team, because he was hurt about the fact, you guys want to build around Bradley Beal? You don't want to build around John Wall anymore? What is this? I want to trade. Get me out of here. And now you got a point guard who wants to be in control as well.
Yeah, but one thing, though, we should both add to Russell Westbrook, and I completely agree with everything you said. At least you're getting a guy is going to compete every night. Like, I can be hard on this guy. I can say I don't like his shot selection. I don't like his demeanor sometimes on the court towards his teammates and other players. But Man, the guy plays his ass off. That guy is competing
110%.
every single night. So, I mean, you got to take the good with the bad. And maybe with the Wizards being a young team, maybe their front office was like, yo, let's get in Russell Westbrook. We're not going to win a championship. I mean, the Wizards aren't competing for a championship, but maybe you get a guy in there who teaches the rest of the team, like, what it takes to be a professional, what it takes to work hard, what it's like to bring it every single night of the week, right? So maybe that's part of the reason they made this trade.
Yeah, so I was having conversations with a couple friends yesterday, and ultimately, I believe that Washington's front office got fed up with the whole idea of John Wall having this personality off the court that was distracting to his on-court, performance. The whole Rose Bar situation. I saw a report talking about how people in the front office were upset with him once they seen videos of him throwing up gang signs in the studio while they were. I think he must have been in some type of like studio, some type of musician, and because his game never really warranted a trade. You know what I mean? When he's healthy, he's a top 2 to 3 point guard, pure point guard in the league. When he's super healthy, we've seen him, 24 and 11, 24 and 10. Those are big time numbers. So you trade that away. But as Brooks said, as both of you guys said, he's been hurt 2 years now. You don't really know what you're going to get. Yeah. You know more or less what you're going to get with Russell Westbrook, and both are like scary unknowns because
that's so true.
Russell Westbrook can ball out all the regular season. Bradley Beal too. And you know what? I personally, for Bradley Beal, I hope it's like a Paul George type situation where Russell Westbrook says, you know what? You're the guy, and I'm going to be your sidekick this year, because Paul George looked like he was the main guy on OKC for a second until the playoffs rolled around and Westbrook shot him right the fuck out of it. And then we all know what happens next. Paul George, game winner, Damian Lillard.
It's crazy, man. And that's a good point that you make there. The fact that Russell Westbrook has to be like, he has to give up that alpha male mentality that he has, as hard as it is, because you look at, like, let's say LeBron James and AD. LeBron James says, AD, you're the man. You know what I mean? We want the offense to go through you. It didn't necessarily do that the whole season, but when it mattered the most, LeBron James gave it up to AD. AD has that game winner in the first round. He helps them put up great numbers in the finals. Like, we see that. Kyle Lowry tells Kawhi Leonard, team is yours. They win a championship in the greatest one-year rental ever. So you need someone to be able to give up their ego and be able to do what's right for the team and the franchise.
Yeah, no, and I completely agree with you there, but it's just Russell Westbrook has never shown me anything that he's ever going to get rid of that ego. I mean, just even the sham that was his triple-double regular season, where he was chasing stats the whole year and stealing rebounds from teammates to post a triple-double so he can win the MVP to prove that he is like over Durant, and hasn't won a playoff series. Or no, finally last year with the Rockets, he finally won one playoff series since.
Before we move on to the next topic, I wanted to ask you guys just real quick, who won yesterday's Houston and Washington trade, George?
I got to give it to Washington. They got the healthy player, and it's just too big of an unknown. And I don't want to talk about the first-round draft pick. Anything after a lottery-protected pick is like the 17th pick of a draft. You know how hard it is to actually get a gem out of that pick? It is so difficult to pick well out of a lottery.
Yep. Brooks, who won it?
My heart is torn, man, 'cause I don't know. But
think up here, not here.
Yeah,
think up
here. It might have been Washington simply because of the fact that they have the healthy player. They basically give up a pick that is meaningless. They have a pick for next year that is way more valuable. My feelings aside over my John Wall fandom, I think Washington probably didn't win this trade.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and finish off the trifecta here, and Washington definitely won this trade. I really don't see how James Harden and John Wall are going to do that much better than what James Harden and Russell Westbrook did, what James Harden and Chris Paul did. Chris Paul and James Harden was like peak Houston, in James Harden's time. So I really don't see it getting much better than that. Washington got better. Houston stayed more or less the same, if anything. But we'll see. And no Mike D'Antoni, so we're going to see what happens there.